Hello, everybody.
Hello.
To the show. Mike is here. Ames is here. Hello, Ames.
How are you?
I am doing good. Feel a little rushed. We're going a little early today. Not your fault at all.
Can I play something just for old time's sake?
Yeah.
Hang on. Oh,
seem very well prepared.
No, I'm not.
Oh boy.
Why isn't it playing?
I don't know. What are you trying to play?
Anyways, I don't know, Mike.
You had a great joke. It was lined up, ready to go.
No, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's just something I wanted to play for old time's sake, but it's not playing for some reason.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. No, I had a busy day. It's not like anything's happened today. So I had to do some running around, and so it threw me off. I was running behind. It's one of those days for you.
I mean, I'm not saying that it was like a good day or anything, but
yeah. The last time that was aired on the show was the riots popping off for Michael Brown, I believe.
Yes.
Dude, it's so funny. I cannot believe the amount of people that point to that day and playing that song over that, because I think people took me out of context with that. Because it wasn't I knew the riots were going to pop off, and I knew that's what the media wanted. So that was the point of playing Celebration. But yeah, anyways, it was the day the Michael Brown verdict came out, or when they...
I think so.
And I
knew
decided
that was gonna... not to like bring charges or something.
Yeah, something like, did they try it? I don't even remember. But anyway, so I was kind of rushed, and then you had to go a little bit early today, which I totally understand. This is a very important day. So for hardcore TDC podcast fans, I've been expecting this day. I've been waiting for this day, and we will give Amy her reward, I guess, for what is this? 2 years now? 2 years of work.
Yeah.
For you?
Well, I mean, 2.5 really, like leading up to the first trial. So it's been like a 2.5 year commitment to Karen Reed.
Should we let's see, should we relive it for you? Which part did you start getting hard?
Number 2282CR117001, murder in the second degree. What say you? Is the defendant at the bar guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
So say you, Mr. Foreman? Ooh. So say you? No.
Where's the guy with the black dude?
Do all of you agree?
He's the foreman.
Thank you.
Okay.
002. What say is the defendant at the bar not guilty or guilty?
Not guilty.
Guilty.
That's his brother right there, that bald guy.
That charge or any lesser included charge? Thank you. Specifically number 5, operating under the influence of liquor by operating a motor vehicle with blood alcohol level of 0.08 or greater. Correct?
Yes.
So say you, Mr. Foreman?
Guilty.
So say you all?
Yes. So that's the DUI.
003. What say is the defendant at the bar leaving the scene after accident resulting in death? The defendant not guilty or guilty?
Not guilty.
So say you, Mr. Foreman? Yeah. So say you all?
That's outside.
Judge, hearken your verdict as the court records it. You upon your oath.
Is that the most? Is that the
one is not guilty?
Yeah,
that's enough.
It. And then they sentenced her today. She got, everybody was super worried about that. Because Karen Reed's defense team asked for that DUI charge to be put on as a lesser included. And, she could have gotten up to 2.5 years in jail if they really wanted to throw the book at her. So for them to sentence her today to a year probation, and she walked out of those doors a free woman.
Yeah, congratulations.
It was so emotional. I've been crying. I had to take a migraine pill because I'm also PMSing. So it's like a whole thing. And I've been crying literally all afternoon. I've been fucking crying. I was so invested in this. Yeah. I truly believe like in my heart that woman is innocent, like factually innocent. And she was railroaded. Yeah. And I'm just like so fucking relieved because I think of just the shit she's been through. She went to the bar 3.5 years ago with her boyfriend. And since that night, she lost her boyfriend, she lost her job, she lost her 401k, she lost her house, she lives with her parents, she's had to go through 2 murder trials. I mean, she couldn't even go to her boyfriend's funeral because she was barred from having any contact with his family. So it's like, it's finally over.
I don't know if you've ever been through it. I never even thought about it in this case because you don't know these people personally. It becomes a story on the news and assholes from far and wide comment on it like they know these people. It's really difficult. I've been through that. Probably a lot of you have been through that where you've been with someone who recently lost someone, right? Where I dated a girl who'd recently lost a boyfriend who was a friend of mine. It's a roller coaster. It takes a lot on both sides for the person who's really going through it and the new person, like in a relationship, like it's a lot. And you have good days, bad days, good weeks, months, years. Like it is a process. It's hard to make sense of. Like there's no way having that hanging over you, a trial like this, being accused of something like this, that you could properly mourn. That's
Right.
3 years ago. There's no way.
Right.
Like her process is about to start with
100%.
what the
100%.
hell happened back there.
100%. And like people are always like, she hasn't even cried. She doesn't even cry when she, sees his picture up on the screen. And it's like, cry? She's on fucking trial for her life. What do you mean cry?
Yeah.
She doesn't have time to mourn. She's been fighting since the day this happened.
Yeah. It's insane. I did read the story. This obviously went international as soon as this happened, and clips are going around, and you guys were celebrating. There, she was greeted with by a massive crowd of pink-clad fans shouting, "Karen Read is free." I thought that was the breast cancer.
So I
thing.
actually compared it. I actually compared it to the Pussy Hat Parade thing that was happening when they were like protesting Trump, and everyone was like wearing pink and wearing pussy hats. It was like that, but minus the pussy hats.
Okay.
I don't know. It just started at some point.
Pink?
Like Karen said she liked the color pink, and then that just became the color everybody wore.
She thanked her lawyers and supporters in a brief press conference. "I could not be standing here without these amazing supporters who have supported me and my team financially and, more importantly, emotionally for almost 4 years. No one has fought harder for justice for John O'Keefe than I have and my team."
So true.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Several witnesses in the case, including those who were in the house that night, released a statement.
These fucking tone deaf motherfuckers. I swear to God.
Yeah. The witnesses who signed the statement included Jennifer McCabe. I'm just giving details. You can give your comment on.
She's just a soccer mom.
Sure. Brian Albert, is he another cop? Was he another?
He's the homeowner.
Well, he was a cop, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't he
Boston detective.
Okay. While we may have more to say in the future, today we mourn with John's family and lament the cruel reality that this prosecution was infected by lies and conspiracy theories spread by Karen Read, her defense team, and some of the media. The result is a devastating miscarriage of justice.
Sit on it and spin, Jen McCabe.
That's twice. At least when OJ was found not guilty, they had a civil trial and he was found guilty as fuck.
Yeah.
And
they are suing her civilly, but
they'll lose that. Lose that.
Yeah, I reckon Karen's going to call up those FBI witnesses and say, "Hey, can you come testify in my civil trial that John wasn't hit by a fucking car?" Cool, thanks.
I gotta think, and I don't know. You know more about this than I do, obviously. But while we may have more to say in the future, I would think you better shut up and hope you don't. Because
Bingo.
What we don't know, all this does is go, yeah, that's not the one that killed him.
Right.
He's still a dead cop on someone's lawn.
Right. And if he wasn't hit by a car, something
it brings the dog theory back into it, doesn't
something fucking happened to him. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you guys are smart, you'd shut the fuck up. But they have this false sense of security because I think they feel like the FBI, because they didn't arrest any of them, that they're like in the clear. But
Yeah.
I think, you have to understand that the FBI, they're not bringing a case unless they're 100% sure that they're going to get a conviction on it. So at the end of the day, the FBI now has, a jury verdict that says Karen Reed didn't hit John with her car. So something happened to him. And, if the Massachusetts State Police were above board, they would come out and say, we're going to continue investigating the death of John O'Keefe, and we're going to find out who killed him. But that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is they're going to say that they got the right person and she got away with it.
Yeah, that's kind of the what OJ's thing was, because he said he was going to spend the rest of his life looking for the real killer.
Right. Except this time we know who the real killers were.
I know. The OJ stuff is so different because that was simply split down racial lines, and the courtroom that was presented in really mattered. And the whole world knew and was just like, obvious. Oh, you got to be shitting me that this, I mean, talk about a miscarriage of justice. Right. And even years later, those jurors would come out and be like, yeah, it was a black-white thing. Like
100%. Yeah, so they admit it.
I don't think, they tried with everything they could. That was a desperation move of people just like trying to job the system to get a result they wanted. And they just they invented a racism case that never existed for the world of O.J. Simpson to make that case. And they, and it worked on stupid people in LA. Yeah. This one, they tried everything they could to convict this woman of second-degree murder, I guess was the biggest charge.
Yep.
So, I don't know. That definitely to me says, there's another person out there that knows what happened. And I can promise you this, if it wasn't Karen Reed, which it doesn't look like it was, and two juries said that.
Right.
It means someone in that house that's popping off with a statement like this today knows exactly what happened to Officer John O'Keefe that fateful night 3.5 years ago.
Exactly.
Someone knows.
Exactly.
So, I don't know what you do. Does like at some point, does the FBI look at a case like that and go, yeah, clearly some people are too close to this and they can't properly investigate what happened? Or do they just go, yeah, whatever, and move on?
I mean, unfortunately, the FBI doesn't investigate just flat out murders unless it's like a murder with special circumstances, right? The reason they were involved in this was because they were investigating corruption. They were investigating the DA's office and the Massachusetts State Police. That was the investigation. And then, so, I don't know that they're necessarily in the business of just outright charging people with murder unless they said he's a police officer. And so maybe that engenders some kind of special circumstance. But, also Jen McCabe lied to the feds. I mean, she called and she corrected it, but like she lied to the feds about like who she called and all that stuff. So,
well, I would think that's a good place to start. You start charging people with stuff like that. That's how you get them to talk. 100%. When you go, you're facing serious charges. You're looking at real time, not a weekend in jail or house arrest. You're looking at potentially months in jail for lying under oath. I mean, she would have been, or not.
The thing is, though, the investigation was so bad that how do they prove it at this point without somebody flipping? Because
you could make someone's life difficult, though.
The house is sold. The floor has been replaced. The dog is gone. I mean, like, what the fuck? They didn't investigate it. They didn't go in the house that night. So,
but all you would need is one of them, to apply some pressure. And maybe these people have been through enough that they know not to talk without a lawyer. They probably do.
Yeah.
But if you got one of them to crack someone inside that house, there's no statute of limitations on a murder.
Right.
So you could have some sort of like, immunity go on, because I'm sure Jennifer McCabe, is that her name? Jen McCabe?
Yeah.
Didn't kill John O'Keefe.
No.
But someone did.
She was just
someone in that house probably did.
Cover up. She was very much involved in the cover up.
Yeah.
And I think there was never going to be these federal charges while Karen Reed was still on, being prosecuted in state court. So I think now that that's resolved, it'll be interesting to see. But there's also there's a new regime in there. I mean, the Joe Biden assistant U.S. attorney is the one that was looking into all of this. And so when Trump got elected and a new assistant U.S. attorney came in for Boston, it stopped the investigation essentially because they had other, they have other goals, other things they're focused on under new leadership. So,
yeah.
But yeah, hey, at the end of the day, Karen didn't kill him. And I give so many props to this jury for doing the right thing. And, they brought in this special prosecutor, paid him $500,000. And
yeah,
fuck, at least the last guy in the first trial at least convicted some people that she was hit with a car. They were hung on manslaughter. This jury doesn't think that at all. They just convicted her of a fucking DUI. So it's like, shit, at least the last prosecutor convicted convinced some people she hit him with a car.
Yeah. Well, when do you think we'll find out if they're going to try her again? Like they just can't.
Oh,
There's
no,
no
it's
way.
over. It's over.
Oh, is it over?
It's over. She's found
Okay.
not guilty on everything except for a DUI. She was sentenced to 12 months probation and she has to take a class.
Oh my God. I would fight that.
Yeah.
I would
She's
fight
probably
that.
so
Seriously.
relieved.
She probably is. But
I mean, she hasn't had a license for 3 years. And like, I wonder, does she get her Lexus back that they've just been holding on to?
Yeah.
That she probably has been still having to make payments on?
Yeah. Probably. She would get it back. Yeah, I would think I would be so mad. Imagine I think of stuff like her driving that Saturday afternoon to whatever school in her community to go sit in her driving course.
Ronnie says, dude, I like Amy, but what the fuck was that kind of reaction? Crying over someone you never met? That was a bizarre watch. Hey, Ronnie.
Did you cry somewhere?
Yeah, on the live stream. Hey, Ronnie, just FYI, you didn't actually have to watch that. So if it was bizarre for you, there was a simple fucking solution, and it was to actually just turn the stream off. So while I appreciate your feedback, nobody fucking asked for it, okay?
Remember, Ronnie, she's PMSing too, okay?
Yeah, today is not the
all
fucking
days,
day.
Ronnie.
Today is not the fucking day, Ronnie. I promise you that. I promise you that.
You're so mad. This is a happy day for you.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hi, Kelly. Karen is free. Let's go. Yeah, no, it's great. I'd be so mad though. Like, she's going to have to get in her little car.
Hey, hang on.
Still
Mike, can you please let this person know that we're not a Free Karen Reed podcast and that this podcast did not start because of Karen Reed, and because the trial is over, we're not becoming irrelevant. This podcast has been around for over a fucking decade. So again, this person who obviously thinks Karen Reed is guilty is retarded, which goes to show my theory is proving to be correct. If you think Karen Reed is guilty, you're actually retarded like this person.
This is where we come from.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Best morning show in Detroit. That's my background, and Amy's here. She's the best. Don't worry about it. So yeah, no, this is what I worried about. When you see, actually, I did turn it off.
Good. It bothered you so fucking much, you're still commenting on it. I hope you see my fucking shaking body and tears in your dreams tonight, Ronnie.
Why do these people, this is new to me. See, I come from a background where people listen because they like the stories that are handpicked and talked about, and they appreciate the people giving the discussion. And so there's very few people that have over the years listened to what we do here and take an issue. There seems like this, like of all these people that are tuning in because of the Karen Reed trial, which is great. Hopefully some of them will enjoy some of the other stories and get into it, but they seem very angry. Are those people that thought Karen Reed was guilty and are pissed?
I think Ronnie's just a listener, but fuck him.
Yeah.
And the other chick, sorry, Mike, I'm going to say fuck you to your stupid ass fucking listeners who are saying bullshit and pissing me off right now.
Yeah.
So the other person is just Karen Reed thinks she's guilty.
So the
hate
FKR
watch,
is
hate
that
watch.
Is hate watching. That's okay. Is that the free Karen Reed people or fuck Karen Reed people?
That screen name says free Karen Reed equals low IQ.
Oh, so she thought Karen Reed was guilty.
Yeah, she's retarded. whoever it
All
is.
right. Hey, it is what it is. Like we've said from
Yeah.
day one. Welcome aboard, I suppose, but it's kind of weird. I understand it, but
I'm super
it's,
excited though, Mike, because there's a special 2020 episode that's airing tonight, and it's the first interview with Michael Proctor, disgraced Massachusetts State Police trooper.
Is he going to fall on the
Proctor.
sword? Is he going to fall on the
No.
sword?
Oh God, no. Oh God, no. I predict it's going to be a whole lot of how this investigation had integrity and honor, and I said some things, but I was very worked up at the time, and that doesn't change the investigation, and people lie about me on the internet, and poor me, and I'm a victim, and blah blah blah. That's what it's going to be. He's not going to fall on the sword. But they're also talking to Karen's attorney, Alan Jackson.
Okay.
So I'm
well, hopefully you get a fair shake.
Ronnie's a day one listener. Okay, I apologize.
All right.
A little bit. I only apologize a little bit. And I do realize that my reaction was over the top. But I have to tell you, and that I truly mean this, I know it's silly. It really is silly. You're right. I don't know her. I don't. But I have watched every single hearing. I've watched every single interview. I've watched every single moment of every trial. And I know every piece of evidence that they had. And I'm so invested in her. I feel like it could be anybody. It could be anybody. It could be me. And I would hope that people would rally behind me like that. So it was 2.5 years just coming out and just being like, holy fucking shit, she's free. Like I just felt it. That's never happened to me before over like a stranger, but I get it, but also fuck you, Ronnie. But also, I love you because you're a day one. But also,
I love Ronnie.
That's what I'm
too.
saying.
Ronnie's
it's like
okay
a
in my book.
love-hate relationship with Ronnie right now.
Amy's emotional. She's a chick, first
and
off.
I'm PMSing.
And she's PMSing. And
which
she's
is a
chick.
big thing.
Here's the thing, though, I would say, Ronnie, if the Lions won the Super Bowl, I would probably want to be alone watching it.
Yeah.
Like I did that when the 49ers played in the Super Bowls. Big fan there, obviously, too. I don't want to be with other people. Yeah. I want to be alone because I don't know what my reaction is going to be.
Totally.
And if the Lions might be worst of all. If the Lions were to win a Super Bowl, and people in Boston might equate it to when Tom Brady won that first Super Bowl, like you can't control those emotions. And I would deny it. Be like, you were crying. Not me.
Yeah.
But dude, that would be like seeing the first time one of them. I'm getting chills right now just thinking about.
I'll have a very similar reaction, to be honest with you. It will be a very similar reaction.
Seeing Steve Yzerman hoist the cup for the first time in '97 was one of those like. And I remember feeling nervous because I was in the building the one year they won it and had the celebration at Joe Louis. And it was like, I remember feeling like if they win this game, I cannot cry in these stands. I do not want to be on one of those forever like montage videos of the guy crying in the crowd. But I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
In fact, Grok today, if you like go to your X profile and you click the Grok button in the top right corner, it tells you like a summary of your profile. And it says, MAGA Barbie is a passionate Detroit Lions fan and vocal supporter of Karen Reed. This Michigan native proudly cheers for her team while calling out political hypocrisy with sharp wit. So it's like,
it knows you.
Yeah, that explains me pretty well. The two things I would cry over: the Lions and Karen Reed.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But anyways, I was crying watching Amy cry. I know Lynn. I bet she was. She's a day one or two.
She is a day oneer.
Yeah.
Dateline has a special tomorrow.
Night two. By the way, I heard them mention HBO did a documentary. Is that old or is
that came before the trial?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, hang on. My theory is just going to prove out a little bit more. I want you to first read the screen name of this person, and then I want you to read their comment.
Sherry Lynn?
No. This one.
Oh, Karen is going to jail. Lions will never win without Ben Johnson. Okay, this is a hater.
So my theory continues to prove out. If you think Karen is guilty, you're retarded. And This is a perfect example.
God, I almost want to talk to one of these Karen Reed is guilty people.
Oh, Mike, they're not going to want to talk to you right now. They are in like major depression mode.
Are they going off? Are they so mad?
Oh, it's not
I'd be
going
so
well.
mad.
It's not going well. Yeah, they're very upset.
It's the feeling of like when the OJ verdict came out, and it was just like I'm usually right about these things. I have a good sense about how these cases are going to go, how they're planning out. I told people immediately Kyle Rittenhouse was walking. There was no fucking chance he was going to be convicted. But so I'm not usually wrong about him, but that OJ one was like, you gotta be
yeah, that one was so crazy.
So it was insane.
Yeah.
And this one's not quite to that level, obviously. But yeah, for those people there are people as invested as you just on the other side.
There's actually not that many.
No. Well, there was one right there that,
yeah, but they're all just, there's like a handful or two. There's like 10 of them total.
Yeah.
So,
well, so that's 2 specials coming 2020 in Dateline.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
There's also a movie coming out.
It's probably going to piss you off because you're going to know more about the details than they are. That's what you'll find.
And it's gonna irritate me when Michael Proctor is on there trying to make himself a victim. That's going to be irritating.
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to immediately go, ask him this, ask him this, ask him this follow up, and they're not going to,
right?
Because they're gonna do it for the masses who aren't familiar with the story.
Yeah, and it's gonna turn into a whole big thing of like he was harassed and his wife was harassed by Karen Reed supporters. That's what it's gonna turn into. I just can guarantee it.
It'll more piss you off than anything because it'll be kind of elementary in
but
its coverage.
It's so awesome because I know that she fucking won, so it's fine. Like she's a free woman tonight, and she must be sleeping. She's gonna sleep good tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be like, "Where's my fucking bail money? Where's my Lexus? Get me my shit.
Yeah,
right now.
I want it now.
Right now.
Full tank of gas.
Full tank of gas and put my fucking taillight back. You took the thing out, put it back.
Put it back.
With all the pieces.
They're going to get some of that red tape and just tape over the thing. Be like, good enough, fuck you. Anyway.
They're like, so sorry, we don't have any more taillight pieces. We littered them all at 34 Fairview.
What's the interview you want going forward? Do you want the Karen Reed interview? Do you think anything's in the works with her?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Karen Reed Turtle Boy interview.
Think? That'll probably be the one.
That'll be the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
Well, congratulations. I know this makes you very, very happy. There is other stuff going on in the world, so the Karen Reed haters.
Did Iran ever?
Yeah, what happened? You were warning me that the whole world's coming to an end thanks to Iran last night.
Not so much.
I don't remember anything. I was watching stuff too. I was watching all the networks last night. I was watching YouTube stuff. Like, okay, any minute now. It's getting kind of late though. What's going on? Trump was headed to the Situation Room to meet with his top generals amid the crisis in Iran, the Iran nuclear crisis. The president added he had not yet made a decision whether to engage U.S. forces against Iran. It came as at least 3 Iranian planes landed on Wednesday in the capital of Oman. The previous site of U.S.-Iran nuclear talks, Al Jazeera verified flight data that showed 2 government planes and one from Iran's privately owned Mirage Airlines landing in Muscat. The Iranian government has not released details on an official trip to Oman. I don't know what any of this means. Honestly, I think the lights are out in like all of Iran. I think it's gone dark, and the internet's out.
Oh,
that doesn't bode well. Trump said he hasn't made a decision on whether the U.S. will strike Iran's nuclear facility, Fordow nuclear facility, which would officially pull the U.S. into Israel's current war with Iran. I've been asked about it by everybody, but I haven't made a decision. He'd like to make a final decision 1 second before it's due. And he talks about how they were really close to signing an agreement and then they didn't. It's still funny to see these people torn the MAGA group, Torn. And did you see Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson go at it?
I saw a clip going around, but I haven't watched it yet.
I've got a couple, and I here's the thing. You don't usually see Ted Cruz. Like, he famously, Alan Dershowitz has said, was his best student ever at Harvard. And at Harvard. And so, but Ted can handle himself. It's like watching JD Vance. It never surprised me when Tampon Tim was like, oh, he was sweating that debate. It was like, yeah, you should be. This is an MSNBC dick face. Yeah. This is an actual debate. And JD Vance is no bullshit. Right. So that's why he was so worked up about that. Ted Cruz handles himself, whether you agree with him or not. You don't want to go toe to toe with Ted Cruz on an issue. I think Tucker handled himself pretty well in a couple of these clips.
I wouldn't want to go toe to toe with Tucker either.
No, I don't know the population at all. No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people living around?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah.
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, this is cute.
It's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who claims
anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
Who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
this is
Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
Oh.
Yikes.
Dude, Tucker just walked Ted Cruz into that by getting him angry.
Shit.
Yeah.
He did.
He fucking worked him up into going, oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Like, that was...
He just dog walked that motherfucker into confessing that we basically are at war.
Yeah, I want more. I hope this might have some of the
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible. Those who...
So, okay. People like Ted Cruz are used to... What's that? Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. He's got a narrative that he wants to push here. And they're used to going on these programs. And the people that are doing the interviews don't know that much about it and aren't going to give much pushback. And so you can sound really smart, sound what you know what you're talking about. Tucker's not sitting up against a commercial break. He's not sitting up against breaking news that's coming into his ear or a producer telling him, you're just sitting in a room here. And unfortunately, Tucker knows what's going on with this story. And Ted's not going to be able to do what these politicians love to do, which is say their piece and then say goodbye.
Right.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the
It's in Genesis. But so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
we are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what, hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
And by the way, it's not run by Benjamin Netanyahu as a dictator. It's a democratic country that elected.
He's the prime minister.
Right.
What?
But just like, America is the country run by Donald Trump. No, actually, the American people elected Donald Trump. The same principle
This is
there.
silly. I'm talking about the political entity of modern Israel.
Yes, and that is
You believe
Israel.
that's what God was talking about
Yes.
in Genesis.
I do, but
That country's existed since when?
for thousands of years. Now, there was a time when it didn't exist, and then it was recreated just over 70 years ago.
I'm saying, I think most people understand that line in Genesis to refer to the Jewish people, God's chosen people.
That's not what it says.
Okay, Israel, but you don't even know where in the Bible it is.
Oof.
Oh my God.
That is
Ted
a
Cruz
masterclass.
is never going to go on Tucker's show ever again.
Yeah. That's was that's going to be a wake up call for
Good
Ted
for
Cruz.
Tucker. And
Yeah.
I love that shit because Tucker wouldn't have been able to go that hard if he were still on Fox News. It would have
Probably not.
stopped. Ted Cruz would have been able to cut it off. It would have been cut off by a commercial or some fucking, but on his own network, he's able to be like, no, hang on a second, and like hold his feet to fight the fire, because they're used to just throwing out these platitudes and like, well, in the Bible it says that we should support Israel, and he's like, where does it say that?
Yeah.
Where does it say that?
Well,
and what does that mean?
He was expecting no pushback on that.
Exactly. Like
None.
None. And I appreciated that he was just like, you're a senator and you're saying this, like it has consequence. Like, let's talk about it. What do you mean?
And that's what I think we want. Like, don't give me a soundbite. Like, have a real conversation with real pushback. That's what's been lacking in the media for so long. This is what you're talking about, what we're all talking about. When these people try to bullshit their way through these interviews where it's like, no, you're an elected official. You better know what the hell you're talking about.
Right.
Right. If you're pushing for this. Now, is there a difference in this version in Iran, U.S. involvement versus what went on in Iraq when you trying to topple a regime? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I don't even like talking about it, to be honest with you. But, I don't think we are talking about a regime change. I think that's what Netanyahu wants, has wanted for a long time. I don't think we have much interest in that. We've done that before. You look at Saddam Hussein, you look at who was the guy that ended up getting fucked by his bayonet. Shit, why is his name escaping me?
Oh, I'm thinking of the
Hillary
one
Clinton's thing. Hillary Clinton, we came, we saw, we killed him. Her famous quote.
I was thinking of the one that got shot by a missile. Wasn't that like Kim Jong-un's uncle?
Oh, that was Kim Jong-un's. Yeah, one of his people. Yeah, which I still think is a great way to go. Firing squad by surface to air missile.
Yeah. Instant.
Yeah. My only question then was, would you even see the flash? Would you see the flash when they lit the wick or whatever they do?
Right.
To send that thing off, and you've got your taped to a pole. Like the ones where they fed, where Un fed his uncle or whatever to the dogs, that would suck.
Yeah, that
the
would
dog
not
pit would
be great.
suck. Surface to air missile, no problem.
Right. Yeah.
Boom, out go the lights. You know what I mean?
Yep.
No problem with that one. So I don't know. We'll see. But these those bunker busters they're talking about using, like only the U.S. has. Have you heard about those?
Ooh, no.
This thing, it requires we have one plane that can even lift this son of a bitch. It's 15 tons, 30,000 pound bomb that can go down like a quarter mile into the ground and fucking obliterate everything.
Sweet.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, we dug a hole way down in the ground to build nuclear facility. And we're like, I got just the thing. And so Israel can get close to that, but they can't do that.
Yeah.
They can't fully destroy it. So I don't think they're fighting the war hawks, the neocons throughout history, American history, the Lindsey Grahams, just a war hawk, Lindsey Graham, who wants to, he's never seen a war he doesn't love. And Ted Cruz is kind of siding with that, where rightly so, people like Tucker Carlson got really embarrassed. A lot of us did, where it was like, we believed weapons of mass destruction, the Glenn Becks of the world, and had to go on record, which takes courage in and of itself. It's hard to admit you're wrong, but those guys went on and went, I was wrong. I was lied to, and I believed.
I should have asked more questions.
Yes, should have asked more questions. And so that's the pretext for Tucker going, wait a minute. Don't just think you're going to throw a Bible verse out.
Yep.
You can't even tell me what book it's from. And that's, well, good enough. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go to war. Like, no, we don't want to get involved in that shit. But, I don't think there's any good in Iran getting a nuclear weapon. They've been pretty clear about the total destruction of Western civilization and Israel. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But, Trump flying home from the G7 and meeting with people. And hopefully this is his version of negotiations and sending a message and like, okay, now you have no place to fly your planes, Iran. What planes you have left? You're in darkness and you're in your own, cave hiding out. And by the way, we know where you are. And I'm the only thing keeping you alive right now, motherfucker. So you might want to scurry back to the negotiation table and unilateral, however he worded it today. Whatever. But we'll see where this goes. But yeah, the shock and awe you talked about last night, they are tweeting, I guess, like, oh, the end is coming. We're going to kick ass. Like they're talking a lot of shit through Twitter, but
in like their letters.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Talking big shit. Hey, the Supreme Court today upheld a lower court decision banning minors in Tennessee from receiving transgender treatments and surgeries.
Big win.
Yeah. This is big. 6-3 ruling. So there were 3 monsters who will go down historically. These will be the ones, where you look at the justices and it's like, these 3 voted for slavery, and you're just like, ugh, what the, these ones voted for segregation.
This is this went to the Supreme Court, Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, one of our Supreme Court justices can't define a woman.
I was just about to say, we know Ketanji Brown Jackson had a real tough time with this one.
Yeah. So she was one of the dissenting voices.
Sure.
But 6-3 handed down as part of a batch release today, likely to extend bans to bans or restrictions in 25 other states where similar laws were put into place or proposed. The court's role is not to judge the wisdom, fairness, or logic of the Tennessee law, but only to ensure that the law does not violate equal protection against protection guarantees. It does not. And it does not. Chief Justice Roberts wrote in the majority opinion, questions regarding the law's policy are thus appropriately left to the people, their elected reps, and the democratic process. This means that it will be left up to the states to decide if they want to pass laws that would restrict transgender treatments for those under the age of 18. The Transgender Law Center denounced this decision, writing on X, let's be clear, gender-affirming care is care. Trans youth deserve safety, support, and the freedom to grow into who they are on their own terms. Yeah, how about they can grow into who they're going to be on their own terms without, taking their tits away? How about we start there?
It's just crazy.
Senator Ed Markey wrote, today, hate won. Washington Senator Patty Murray wrote, politicians should not be able to interfere in healthcare decisions that belong between doctors, patients, and their families. Gabby Giffords joined the chorus of liberal voices. This shameful decision threatens the health and well-being of alphabet young people across the country and leaves trans youth even more vulnerable to gun suicide. Debunked.
The emotional blackmail.
Yeah. Yeah.
is too much. It's too fucking much. Would you rather have a dead son or an
Yeah.
alive daughter?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about an alive son?
Senator Tammy Baldwin said on X, I fundamentally trust parents and doctors to make the best decisions for their families. Yeah, you shouldn't.
You should.
This is a
taught you nothing?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry now. You better be very wary of what we see some of these activist parents. They're a nightmare.
It's lifelong expenses.
Yeah,
lifelong expenses. They're doing a procedure on your child that requires them to care for them for their entire life.
Yeah.
Via medicine and procedures. It is a constant cash flow. That's what they're doing to your kids. And you're trusting them. You're taking them to a gender affirming clinic, which by definition is not. You're not going to a doctor. You're going to someone who you want to affirm your opinion, not give you an opinion. They want you want them to
tell you a hard truth.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Senator Tammy Baldwin wrote, I fundamentally trust parents and doctors, blah, 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 without politicians or the government butting in. Clearly, Republicans and this Supreme Court don't. While this court continues to restrict Americans' rights, I'll keep fighting to protect and expand them. Okay, do driving while underage.
Or drinking. Or getting a tattoo or smoking. Because 5 minutes ago, you guys were banning fucking vape cartridges because they were too fruity. So
they are in California. I was in California. You cannot buy Zyn that's flavored, as if adults don't like strawberry or peppermint or wintergreen.
Right.
Only children. They're so delusional. It's unbelievable.
So like if you are just of the mind that the government should have no say in anything that anyone does in their personal life, fine. So you won't care then if, your kid gets drafted at, 16
12.
or, they can drink, they can do drugs, any of the drugs, they can just go buy them. And that's cool. Don't worry about it. The thing is, the reason that there are age limits on that stuff is because it affects you more as a minor. If you start doing drugs as a minor, fucks you up way more than if you start doing drugs as an adult. Same with alcohol, like with your brain and your development and shit.
The male brain doesn't fully develop until 25 years old.
Right.
That includes decision making. The one thing I remember, because I struggle with this more than anyone, to see the consequences of my behavior and actions, I was worse than most young people. I was a dreamer. I was, what's the harm? Oh, that's something I got to deal with when I get old. Whatever, for another day. By the time I get to that age, they will have cured that. So I won't have to worry about lung cancer if you smoke. Like, I was one of those kids. I needed protection from myself. And my parents did everything they could. Like, I would have been one of those kids that fell for propaganda, an industry of propaganda. It should terrify you when you get video inside the board at Disney producing movies, and the woman's talking about sneaking in gay and trans scenes anywhere she can. And this one's like, oh yeah, you think that's cool? Well, I have 2 trans children in my family. Like, where are you going now? She just saunters off. It should tell you something that's going on. What is with all of these Hollywood parents coming out every week? Every week there's another Hollywood parent who, what do you know? Their kid's trans, and look at me with my trans. That tells me you're probably a pretty lousy parent, pretty uninvolved parent.
Right.
And I've talked about Chloe Cole so many times. I feel so bad for that girl because I can see how it happens. And it affects girls more than boys. And when you talk about the care that they require, your body is going to reject. It's like getting a foreign body into your body. And the first thing they worry about is whether or not your body rejects your new heart, rejects your new kidney, to see if this is going to work. What do you think happens when they implant a fucking panus into a guy or into a girl or craft a vagine out of forearm? Like, I will spare you guys. It's kind of like the abortion people showing the what happens in an actual abortion. I will spare you the images. You want to see them? Go on Libs of TikTok right now. Libs of TikTok has been posting pictures of trans surgeries. They are as fucking gruesome gets. Is as evil as it can possibly be. And the reality is, when you fashion a vagine, that is an open wound that your body is going to naturally try to heal. It's why I always used to make the joke, it's like churning butter. You need to churn butter with a dildo. Mike. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Like, you need to do that. So all I could picture was, you get this radical fucking surgery when you're 15, 18, 20. At some point, hopefully that person grows old and is in an old folks home trying to churn butter on themselves to keep that wound open. It's insane.
Gross.
Chloe Cole came out and she spoke on the steps of the Supreme Court today after this ruling. And this article was written by her. I'll read it to you. I think it's great. I think it speaks to, she would know more than most. And I feel so bad for her because she bought into all your propaganda. She bought in hook, line, and sinker as a 12-year-old girl, as a 12-year-old beautiful little girl, and got a double mastectomy and took hormones and went down this road. And then she realized, wow, a 12-year-old made a mistake. And now they hate her.
Yeah. Oh, they hate her. Yeah.
So the love there, like, oh, it's all about love. It's all about love. Yeah. Until you decide to go against what they believe. And then there's not enough death threats and hatred that can be thrown at what is a 20-year-old girl now. It's disgusting how they treat her. America's kids are safer today, thanks to the Supreme Court. They're safer from the radical transgender ideology that endangers their developing minds and bodies. As someone who was seduced by activist lies when I was just 12 years old, I'm glad the court's putting kids first. Thousands of kids will now be protected from disturbing treatments that ruin young lives. On Wednesday, the court upheld a Tennessee law that effectively banned gender-affirming care for kids. That includes puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and sex change surgeries. Another 26 states have passed similar laws. Puberty blockers and sex hormones have irreversible effects and lifelong health complications. Yeah, it's Lupron they give them, okay?
Right.
It's a chemical castration drug is what they're taking. No kid can truly understand what these treatments are and how they'll forever change their life. Not a chance kids will understand it. Sorry.
Right.
Nope. Trans activists have already pushed thousands of kids down this dark road. Do No Harm, where I work, has found that nearly 14,000 kids got sex change treatments between 19 and 23 alone. The real numbers are likely much higher. These kids didn't get medical care. They got the opposite. And far from having their gender affirmed, they were told by adults to be something they fundamentally aren't. I used to be one of those kids, so I know how awful sex change treatments truly are. I tried to change gender starting at age 12. Like so many young girls, puberty was hard for me, and I found myself unhappy and confused. This is the emotion that trans activists prey upon, and I was exposed to their lies online. They dug in deep, and they led me to make decisions that I never should have been allowed to make. When I first started, doctors and nurses told me I could go back. I believed them. Before long, I didn't recognize my own face in the mirror. I still believe the doctors when they told me to get a double mastectomy. To this day, I have wounds where my breast used to be. Not just scars, wounds that bleed. If I ever have kids, I'm not sure I can. Probably not, Chloe, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'll never be able to breastfeed. The doctors made sure of that. Those same doctors refused to see me once I said I regretted it. By the time I realized I'd made a mistake, it was too late. I'm now 20 years old, and I've devoted my life to fighting the same activists who've hurt me so much. And I can attest that the single most important thing to do is ban the sex change treatment that I was subjected to. If these dangerous treatments are off the table, kids will be able to develop naturally. Many who are confused will grow out of it as they age. That's how adolescence works. What doesn't work is pumping kids full of drugs and cutting off their sexual organs. The Supreme Court has now confirmed that states can protect kids from these treatments. This is a praiseworthy first step, but it's not the final one. Congress needs to pass, and the president needs to sign a federal law that at the very least ends all federal funding for child sex change treatments. The House passed a version of this policy and the Senate needs to keep it. No kid should ever be pushed down the same road as me. As soon as treatments for children are permanently banned from coast to coast, Americans' kids will truly be safe. That's from Chloe Cole. Yeah, couldn't have said it any better myself.
Yeah, it's funny. They value trans voices until it's a trans voice that goes against their position, then not so much.
Yeah. It's a simple discussion too, and we've had it on 1,000 shows here. But I don't have a problem. I chuckle to myself when I see someone that is gone. You know, you see some 30-year-old guy who thinks he's still 15, and he's got face tattoos everywhere, and he's got horns implanted in his forehead. And it's like, I just walk past that person, and I don't think any. I just go, whatever, man. Do you, dog? I really, truly mean that. Like, do you? You want to put fucking horns in your head? Knock yourself out. But you can't do that when you're a 12-year-old. I'm sorry. You just can't.
Right.
You can't do that. There's reasons we have age limits on anything. I mean, shit, you won't let them go to a movie without parental guidance. But you feel comfortable with this stuff, and you don't even want to have the discussion. You want to shame and cut down anybody that has questions about this.
Right.
It's unbelievable. So good for the Supreme Court. Of course, those 3 liberal justices. I'm convinced. I'm perfectly convinced that this will go down as lobotomies. You know, when for 50 years they did lobotomies in this country, and you know, this will have the same type of path where people go, like, we look back at past generations and go, God, can you imagine growing up with such brain dead people that they would, I'm going to drill a hole into your head to release the demons. Like, how stupid were those people?
Right.
You know, we're going to cut off the top of their head and, you know, do lobotomies. And
we're going to give them a fake vagina and that she's going to have to fucking use a dildo on every day.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly how I think they'll look back scientifically on this period of time. And for money, you know, that's really what it comes down to. Power and money. It's just insane.
It is.
And these nut jobs are pushing it too far. A male bus driver dressed up in a schoolgirl costume to transport young children to their Catholic elementary school on what he dubbed the Lolita line. You want to see this, dude? Okay. These people, you've let them get too far. Let's see. I know. Yeah. This is just, don't fuck with kids.
So you picked up the kids dressed like that? Yeah. Okay.
Why
Look at that, Roops.
bus the Lolita line? Why is it called the Lolita line?
Is it a short bus?
Yeah,
Why
it looks
is
like
called
it,
the
doesn't
Lolita
it?
line? Someone's gonna talk to sick people.
Like when people are.
It's an Asian one. Look at this dude. Sorry, sir.
So you picked up the kids dressed like that?
Nice mini skirt. Just a lady out driving your kids to school.
In a
short bus. So the incident was filmed at St. Michael, the Archangel Catholic Elementary in Vaughan, Ontario. Isn't Ontario where that science teacher or woodshop teacher with those size, I don't know,
oh my God,
Z tits? Wasn't that Ontario?
Yes. Was that person trolling? Or was that serious?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard that it was a troll, but then I've heard it wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
The driver in a short pink skirt, for those not watching, just listening, blouse, pink shoes, and coordinating headband. A group of these concerned parents confronted him outside the bus. One of the parents you could hear in the video was like, "You picked up the kids dressed like that?" "Yes, and I don't think there's any problem." The bus driver said something along those lines. Why do you call your bus the Lolita line? The name likely refers to Vladimir Nabokov's novel Lolita. You ever read that?
Mm-mm.
Published in 1995, tells the wonderful story of a they probably mean literary professor, who becomes obsessed with and sexually abuses his 12-year-old stepdaughter. Oh, that sounds like a real page turner.
Yeah.
The novel was said to be a favorite of Jeffrey Epstein, who even named his private jet the Lolita Express in nod to the book. Well, it could be the Long Island Lolita. Remember the Long Island Lolita? Was that
and wasn't that Jeffrey Epstein's plane name or the Lolita Express?
Yeah. That's they think why he named it that.
Oh, okay. I missed that
but
part.
so
okay.
But the Long Island Lolita, that was Amy who shot Buttafuoco, right? Wasn't it the fucking Buttafuoco guy was banging the chick, Joey Buttafuoco?
I don't know.
Oh God, you were probably too young to remember this story, but Amy something walked up to this chick and shot her in the face.
Yikes.
Joey was cheating on his wife with this chick, and they called it it was in Long Island, New York. And they called it the Long Island Lolita.
Interesting.
I think I've got most of the details there right.
I'm sure you do.
I was going to say Amy Smart, but it's not Amy Smart. Yeah. So staff immediately confronted the third-party company that employs this bus driver after the incident. The company acted quickly to address the situation. They shit-canned this bus driver. They're like, yeah, our bad. These people...
especially, you said it was a Catholic school. I mean, it's obviously, it's a private, private contract. It's not like they're, public school employees.
Well, all bus drivers in Ontario, so I don't know if it's a Catholic school thing, if they're hiring private. I'm assuming that means all schools, not just all public, but all bus drivers in Ontario are required to pass a vulnerable sector screening with local police. And that screening is similar to a background check here in America. It's a police information screening that checks if an individual has a criminal record or a record suspension for sexual offenses. Yeah, but are they checking for mental stability? Because that looks
probably not. I mean, that shit's so that's just normal in Canada, I feel like.
Yeah. I think these people have gotten so comfortable. The whole push for the LGBTQIA plus community has gotten so comfortable pushing to where, I always use the example of San Francisco Jacks, which what made them being so stick that shit in a fucking dark, it was controversial that they could rent a space to go jack off together. And we found it funny. There was something, but it was like, you're adults consenting, do your thing, clean up after yourselves, but just keep it to yourselves.
Yeah.
And these people feel totally comfortable with whatever their wild kink is out in public. And when you start doing this shit, when you start creeping into other people's kids, you are going to lose, you're going to lose the public where you mostly got support for hey, treat others as you'd want to be treated. This idea, because think about it, if that guy has a mental breakdown in his Minnie Mouse outfit with a school bus filled with children and drives off a cliff, the first thing you're going to do is go, hey, parents, what did you think was going on with the fucking man bus driver dressed up as a woman in a cartoonist fashion? You felt comfortable throwing your 6-year-olds on the bus to just get a ride to Bible school?
Right.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking? It reminded me of this. I tweeted about this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago when Pride Month first kicked off. These people need to watch themselves because they're getting cute in this video. I think it's the San Francisco Men's Gay Choir. And they're doing a play on words here. I think you're fucking around in the wrong area with other people's kids. I really do. I'll let you watch it. You tell me.
You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked.
Sort of.
Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco. Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
You see what they did there? We're going to convert them to being tolerant and fair.
Sure, yeah.
You see that? So are you comfortable? Let's watch a little bit more because
the way he was staring at me made me very uncomfortable.
Dude, the look on your face says it all. Just
why you'd be so scared of us turning your children into accepting, caring people, but
that's not what we're afraid of.
I see now why you'd have a problem with that.
Just like you worried, they'll change their group of friends. You won't approve of where they go at night. To protest.
Is he from the 1800s?
Oh, and you'll be disgusted when they start finding things online that you've kept far from their sight.
You know, when you're being a parent and trying to protect them from things that, you know, might send them down a dangerous path.
We need a wellness check at his house, like stat.
Just wait.
Like information. Guess what?
Like
You'll still be all right. We'll convert your children. Yes, we will.
Reaching one and all, there's really no escaping it.
'Cause even grandma likes RuPaul.
No, she doesn't.
And the world's getting kinder.
Gen Z's gayer than Grindr. Learn to love, learn to vogue, face your fate. We'll convert your children. Someone's gotta teach them not to hate. We're coming for them.
What in the
We're coming for your children.
Oh my God.
What?
Did they all film this in a prison?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
The gay agenda is coming home. The gay agenda is here. But you don't have to worry. Because there's nothing wrong with standing by our side. Get on board in a hurry. Because the world always needs a bit more pride.
Is this trolling?
They might have gotten some like extra credits at the jail, like to film this, because these all look like they went in to the fucking like rec room and recorded this. Like that's what that looks like, and it's scary. And they scare me. Those people scare me.
That's
weird. That's really fucking weird. And no, they don't scare me because they're gay. They scare me because they're singing about converting children, and it's really fucking creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like the way they're like, converting your children, like getting like super into it. It's like, who had that fucking idea to hold that tune?
Yeah. It's so creepy. I think you're the way they're trying to cover it with converting your children to being more tolerant and accepting.
Still, that's not on you. That is not on you. No, they're not your kids. They're my kids. So thank you though.
No, but those two men there can never have kids of their own. You know what I mean? And so it's very important. I just think and I think I tweeted at the time something like, dude, you were going to lose people that have been allies of yours for a long time, like this guy. Yeah. When you start putting shit like that up. I know how parents are with their kids. I get it. Like there's some things that parents don't find funny. And that's anything at the expense of their own children.
Yeah.
I push the boundary a lot here with some of the stories I do about kids. But I know. So I don't find anything funny about the guy dressing up like a woman and fucking, this is what I do. Deal with it. I'm driving your kids to school. That's what I do. I am a bus driver. Fuck off, dude. You're dealing with other people's kids. No, there's certain things where I need you to be a pro's pro. You want to dress like Minnie Mouse and fucking dance around and blow your buddies? Do that on your own time. When you're driving my kids to school, you can dress up appropriately and just drive them to school. Sorry, simple as that. And I don't need you. Yeah, I don't need anyone converting the children. No, fuck off, dude. No, not your not your place. Jesus Christ. This shouldn't even have to be said.
No,
it's unbelievable.
No, it shouldn't.
all worked up. Dude, that was worth it just to see the look on your face while that was going on. Like,
dude, that was fucked up.
You were frozen in horror.
Yes, I was.
You were seriously like, you hadn't seen that obviously before.
I'm like hot now. It like bothered me.
Take your shirt off. Just take it off.
It bothered me though, Mike.
Yeah. No, I know. I think people need to see what's going on there. That should be covered by the mainstream. I swear to God, I know I'm always pounding lumps on the mainstream. That video should be played as the lead story on the news that night. Like, what's going on? Reporting live, KTVU out of San Francisco. What's going on with the gay men's choir wanting to convert your children? And then you're stuck interviewing them, trying to explain, what do you mean with the double entendre about converting your children, sir? And then you get him fancifully trying to defend what the hell that song was about. And what looks like 300 men in a gay prison filming a hostage release video.
Mike, kind of like how I pull up John O'Keefe's arm and ask people if they think they're dog bites. And if they say no, then I think they're stupid. Yeah. You should pull that video up when you meet people and say, what do you think of this video? And if they're like, I think that's the greatest thing ever, then stay the fuck away from them.
And the sick thing is the responsibility. Why do you have so much hate in your heart? It's like, dude, I don't have hate in my heart for anybody.
I guarantee that the gays hate that shit.
They should.
There's a whole gays against groomers group that hate that shit.
Mm-hmm. No, I was bummed it didn't take off, the LGBs without the T's group. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's going to take. No, too many people have felt quiet for too long about this shit. But that stuff right there, it's like, do you know how comfortable you need to be to write, compose, produce, and release that fucking video?
Well, when you're in a gay prison, you don't have much going on. You can write the song and,
I promise you, not to slander anybody's good name. I don't want to besmirch anyone's good name. I promise you, that fucking box right there of 100 gay men, I don't even want to see what kind of shit is on their background check. Don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Don't even want to know.
No, they've got some fucked up shit on their hard drives for sure.
Yeah. I almost called Jerry from the Jacks and asked him what he thinks about it. Probably not.
When was the last time you talked to Jerry?
I haven't talked to him in a minute. Where is it? I mean, I suppose
we're converting your children.
But then we'd have to play the song again. Here's the problem. I think I have the equipment to make the phone call so that you can also hear it. But I can't. I think. Here, let me call you and test it.
That sounds like a lot of work.
I know. Yeah, maybe we do this another time. Or I could just call him.
Yeah, maybe we should. There's a really bad storm rolling in right now, Mike.
Is there really?
Yeah. There's a really annoying buzzing.
It's gone. Relax. Here's the thing. Let's just call him really quick. Okay. I don't know if he'll be able to hear you, though. That's the problem. Why is my phone blowing up? Oh, my God. I have all these messages. I'm sorry, folks. I'm usually more prepared for this. But I kind of want to know. Here's the problem. I don't know if he can hear this. Fuck it. Let's try him. Who cares? Plus, Jerry's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
I always worry that the last time I talk to him is going to be the last time I talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just, I think he's like 80 years old.
He might already be dead, Mike.
Could be. I hope someone would let me know. I don't know how much news coverage that would get. Oh, boy. Nah. That was worth a try. All right, hold on.
Hold on.
It was worth a try. Hold on. Yeah, I just think this is really dangerous. This bothers me more than anything, that these people have gotten so comfortable, like even joking about other people's kids. That's usually the death knell, but people are so scared of being called homophobic, transphobic. They're so afraid of that tag that they don't dare say anything.
Yeah.
These groups are speaking on behalf of everybody in the group, and they're making dangerous decisions. We'll convert your children. Like,
so weird.
Knock it off. Yeah. Are you okay over there?
Yeah.
You
I
sure?
just saw, I saw some text from Weatherman Travis coming through.
Oh, what's going on?
I guess we're getting a pretty decent storm on the way.
Oh boy. Well, let me know
heavy
if that
wind
happens.
and heavy rain. So if for some reason my internet goes out, then
I'll take it from there.
Yeah.
How much time do I have before you got to go to your interview?
Oh, what you mean it started at 8. It's fine. I can be
okay.
behind.
You can be a few minutes late. Okay. Did you hear about we didn't talk about the big military parade. Oh, I'm sorry. The King's birthday.
Yes.
Celebration. Did you watch any of that?
No.
I believe it was June 14th, the No Kings parade marches, protest marches. And then we had the military parade, which in fairness was never as it was billed by the people that just hate Donald Trump and can't believe he got elected and hate you if you voted for Trump. That was the 250th anniversary of the Army, the birth of the U.S. Army is what that was. It just happened to fall on Trump's 79th birthday. And so if you hate Donald Trump, you can logically make the step to, he's just throwing a big Kim Jong-un style birthday party for himself, showing off shiny military toys. Like,
yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But I always hate the programming when you get super patriotic, like 4th of July stuff. Fox News is intolerable come 4th of July.
Yeah.
Where they're all jacking off to American flags. And all their programming. It's just silly, a lot of it. So I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm always kind of like, ugh, with that stuff. I love the 4th of July. I cannot see enough American flags. That part is true. I love that. Very proud American, but the whole pomp and circumstance of it, I can do without. It's just they're like graduation parties to me. Like,
yeah.
But anyway, have you heard about this woman who was killed at the parade?
I don't think so.
Isn't that weird? I'm surprised there's not more coverage. It might.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
It might have something to do with the person that was murdered at the No Kings protest in Portland. I don't know if there's a connection to the two. Obviously, they're across the country from each other, but it's weird that there's not much talked about this one. So there was a woman in D.C. who was hit by a truck carrying an M1 Abrams tank that took part in the Army parade on Sunday. What did you say? Who?
No, sorry. Go ahead.
What are you doing? What are you doing over
Michael Proctor got fat as fuck.
Amy, let me finish up our show before you get to your fucking beat-off
session. He's so fucking fat. Look at him. What a piece of shit.
He looks skinnier than me.
No. Oh, my God. Okay, go ahead. No, Mike.
That guy's fat. I'm in trouble.
Compared to what he used to be?
Compared to what he was. Okay. Keep it in your pants for a minute.
Oh, my God.
So did you hear what I said? A woman got hit by a truck carrying an M1 Abrams tank. The truck was part of a convoy.
It was as big as Michael Proctor.
I'll allow it.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
The truck was part of this story gets grim. The truck was part of a convoy transporting military vehicles back to Fort Hood, Texas from the parade, which obviously was celebrating the anniversary of the 250th anniversary of the Army. The woman, Sierra Smith, died at the intersection of New York Avenue and Bladensburg Road en route to Jessup, Maryland. An investigation said Smith ran into the road, and then ate shit. So she tripped and fell. Picture that.
Okay. She just tripped and fell?
She tripped and fell, stumbled and fell in front of a truck carrying a 70-ton tank. She was dragged for blocks.
Oh, man.
And then got hit by a 2007 Chevy Suburban. Is this a scene out of The Naked Gun?
Seriously. That's crazy.
So there's a Suburban driving behind this Envoy. This thing is dragging this woman for blocks. And when she falls off, the Suburban runs her over. The drivers were private contractors and not members of the military. No one's been charged with a crime. Yeah, accidents happen. She ran out, ate shit, and then it's a horrible story.
Yeah.
These tanks did not. Oh, these people. Okay. Tell me who you voted for without telling me who you voted for. These tanks, they did not need to be on local streets, and consequently, they didn't need to be hauled away in a big convoy. DC Shadow Senator Paul Strauss said, in some ways, it's a very random accident that could have occurred with another vehicle, but it really begs the question, why was this necessary to have all this equipment here? Could you say the same thing of a fireworks display somewhere?
Yeah, and couldn't it also be argued, why the fuck is that person so unathletic that they just ran and tripped and fell in the road and got hit by a fucking tank? You know, I mean, I don't know.
We don't know. Why was it necessary to have all this equipment here? Because they were having a keep up.
Yeah.
They were having a celebration parade and showing off some toys.
Yeah. Yeah.
These types of things happen. So if someone gets injured at the Thanksgiving Day parade, are you going to make the same comment? Why on earth do all these flowered vehicles need to be out on the streets? You sound like a real bummer, sir.
Right.
What, an accident happens anywhere? The guy that fell out of the stands that you were laughing at the video of him falling ass over apple cart. Why on earth did a stadium need to be built there?
Yeah,
he would have never fallen if you didn't have this stupid game being played.
Yeah, that can be said about anything.
Anything. We don't know if enough precautions were taken. Well, we didn't account for some lady eating shit running out into the street.
Right.
Who could have seen that coming? I don't know how we would have taken the proper precautions for that. So, yeah, he called it an unnecessary and exercise done for the sole purpose of appeasing the president's ego on his birthday. Okay. Yeah. Hilarious. No one's talking, though, about these, a self-identified peacekeeper. Have you heard about these clowns at a Salt Lake City No Kings protest on Saturday? Said they saw someone acting suspicious, believed they were an imminent threat to the protesters. Ooh. And they took action. Ultimately, that action involved firing a handgun 3 times, striking and wounding their target, and then killing an innocent protester standing there. So this is one of the No Kings protesters, the ones in Portland. I don't know if you've seen these people now. Have you watched any videos from these things where if you even try to go up there and be like, so what are we here protesting? You'll get these clowns that show up behind you, blowing whistles, trying to distract you.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah. And they're always wearing a safety vest. And then you get the militant group wearing masks, and they've got an AK-47. They're not law enforcement. They're there just in case a MAGA shows up who's going to be disruptive. They're called peacekeepers. We used to call them fags back in the day. You know, these people that are like grew up in a video game world and they're out playing badass. That's usually what they are. And it's just a matter of time before they get into some shit where they don't know how to react. They don't really know how to behave. And it sounds like that's what's happening here. And what you're seeing from these organizers, they're going to bat for these peacekeepers as part of their team. They're radical Antifa members. And like they didn't do anything wrong. I was watching a breakdown from Tim Pool. Do you like Tim Pool?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
Here's him talking about it. He's got more info than I will. I'll play it for you, and then we'll kind of wrap things up. I know I can tell Amy is already distracted. But I think Tim's got a pretty good breakdown of what happened there. But I know exactly who these fucking clowns are at these events. meant to gin people up, act tough and badass. Like almost they're playing military guys. And, Portland has you don't need a license to have a gun in Portland. So they have every right to be there, but you better know what you're shooting at. You better have good reason. You don't go willy-nilly firing into a crowd and kill someone, you dipshits. It's like Chaz and Chop all over again. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So here, let's hear Tim break it down.
5501 organized the No Kings protest. 5501 is responsible for many of the protests that were organized, and they stated on Facebook they were directly involved in the shooting of an innocent person. And the police arrested the guy they shot at. Now, there's video. I'm not going to show the full video because the video, it's just a panning shot from a rooftop. But there are stills. The first thing I want to show you is this. This is from Utah News Dispatch. Man dies after being shot in chaotic scene at Salt Lake City's No Kings protest. They go on to say, in a Facebook post by Utah's 50501, the group that organized, it's working with police saying, quote, our team was directly involved. We have been in direct contact with law enforcement. Some of you seem to think a keyboard or social media gives you a free pass to be nasty and accusatory. Our teams just had to deal with something extremely traumatizing, and when faced with personal risk to their own lives, chose to run toward the danger in order to serve the community. Lies. The video that was released shows a far left guy in black bloc. He's wearing all black. He's an Antifa guy. He's carrying a rifle legally pointed down. Two peacekeepers from presumably this group, they're saying they're involved,
fags,
are holding pistols, pointing it at him, and they fire 3 shots. The dude ducks after getting shot at and runs. They had already shot and killed the guy when this guy started running. The narrative they're putting out is they saw a man manipulate his rifle, and then when they yelled at him to stop, he ran into the crowd, so they opened fire, and someone got caught in the crossfire. But when you watch the video, you can clearly see that is not the case. Now, the police arrested the dude who got shot at. It is not illegal to carry a rifle. Utah is permitless open carry.
Why didn't they arrest the people that shot the guy?
They are covering up the fact that liberal organizers shot randomly into a crowd and killed the guy.
Insane.
And the crazy thing is, I'm finding out a lot of people have no idea this happened.
Yeah, people have no idea, Tim. Isn't that wild?
Wow.
Can you imagine if that happened at a fucking MAGA rally?
Yeah,
someone
that's crazy.
playing security.
Right.
These clowns.
Yeah.
Playing security.
Rittenhouse.
Yeah. Right. And you saw the coverage that got.
Right.
That ended up in a courtroom.
Yeah.
This one you don't even know about.
Yeah.
And these people are going to the defense of them. Yeah, they're saying the statement comes amid increasing scrutiny of the peacekeepers who organizers are calling safety volunteers. In other words, unlicensed. They're unlicensed security people at your event.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Decision to shoot into the crowd, blah, blah, blah. Circulates purportedly showing the intended target and the suspect, 24-year-old Arturo Gamboa, walking toward the protest crowd with a rifle. Police Chief Brian Redd told reporters that witnesses reported the volunteer shot and wounded Gamboa after he raised his weapon in a firing position and began running toward the crowd. The gunfire also hit and fatally wounded Alu. Gamboa did not fire a shot, was treated for a gunshot wound, and then later jailed on suspicion of murder. The volunteer who fired at him said has spoken with investigators, but was not arrested. So the persons that fired the shots have not been arrested. The one that was shot at, not the one that was killed, the one that was shot at and got out of there was detained. Yeah. Hilarious.
Jesus.
But yeah, that's not front page news. I don't know why you haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
All right. Should we wrap it up, Ames?
We should, Mike, because I think my windows downstairs might be open, and
seriously, yeah.
A little
Let
nervous.
Let me do one email and we'll get out of here. And we'll be back tomorrow with a member show, patreon.com/TDC Podcast. You can join us there. We welcome everybody. Maronites. We were talking about them yesterday when we were doing our Arab discussion.
Right.
Chaldeans.
Yeah, Maronite Catholics or whatever.
Yeah. So these are, what did we decide they were? Maronites are Catholic.
It's like a
Catholic sect
a rite of Catholicism.
Yeah. From So James says, beautiful mass, totally valid for all Catholics to offend. Can't join it. You must be born into it. Extremely welcoming and hella nice people. Not as cliquey as Chaldeans.
Interesting.
Okay. I'm getting a
Alrighty.
Sikh vibe. I'm getting a bit of a Sikh vibe there.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Totally.
I love the
Yeah.
Sikh. I love the Sikh. I think anyone can join the Sikh. So I don't know about the Maronites. You know, this whole you got to be born into it thing. I'm not crazy about, but you know, that's their rules. Their rules.
Thanks, Ronnie. You have a
thank
good
you,
night
Ronnie.
too. I will let
Yes.
my husband know that you took the brunt of my PMSing today and that he's
There you
off
go,
the hook
Ronnie.
because
Wait.
he. So thanks for that.
Way to take one for the team, Ronnie. Good on you, son. We love you, day oneers. All right, Ames, have a great night. Congratulations on your big day. I know this was a long day coming. And thank you for the tremendous work you've done over the last week and a half. It's not lost on me how many people have checked out this show because of your work.
Oh, I thought you were being
And-
sarcastic.
No, I'm
Oh,
being
thanks.
dead serious. I think you did tremendously good work. I think there are hundreds of people watching right now.
Yeah,
and that
almost
is in
600.
in large part due to the tremendous work you did covering Karen Reed. That doesn't happen for no reason. So I am super happy with you, proud of you.
Thanks, Mike.
You earned that. And I know this was a big day, long day coming for you. And I'm thrilled that you got what you were looking for. I'm still fucking pissed about the DUI thing. I'm going to be hung up on that for a while. I swear to God.
Yeah.
That should be thrown out. I don't
I
even
know.
want her to go to a class
I know.
for that bullshit.
Imagine being
So-
in Karen Reed's class.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, have a
All
great
right.
night.
I'm going to go
Ames.
watch Fat Fuck Michael Proctor on 2020.
I can't wait to hear all about it tomorrow.